Heart disease remains the #1 cause of death in the United States, but fear of going to the hospital because of the coronavirus means more people with heart disease are at risk. Here this morning is Dr. Kirk Garrett. He is the former president of the Society of Cardiovascular Angiography and Interventions. Doctor, it's good to have you with us. You can understand why people are reluctant to go to the ER now, but that really means they are really at risk.
Well, that's right. I certainly understand the fear. But, we have to remember that cardiovascular disease is a prevalent disorder. Heart attacks and strokes take many, many lives each year and cause tremendous disability. During this COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen a very steep reduction in the frequency of hospital visits to care for things like heart attack and stroke. And we worry that that may mean people are not coming in to get the care that they need.
And so how do we change that mindset, especially now? If somebody is fearing that they are having a heart attack or a stroke, of making sure that they do get the help they need.
We understand that there's a lot of fear out there, and hospitals seem like a place where you might pick up a germ like COVID-19. But in fact, if you were to go to hospitals today, you would see that they are outfitted to care for people without exposing them to the germ. If you walk into an emergency room, you'll see the same kinds of precautions you see elsewhere in your community, with social distancing rules in place to keep people separated, contact areas being disinfected frequently, providers wearing masks and gloves, and very importantly, people arriving who have or are thought to have COVID-19 trouble are sent to one area for care, and others are sent to a different area. And that separation is very effective in preventing any transmission of the coronavirus disease.
If somebody in the family is feeling as though they are having a heart attack or a stroke and need to get to the ER, part of the problem then is being able to bring somebody to the hospital and having the person who is bringing you being able to go in to the ER with them.
If you arrive in an emergency room with a genuine emergency, you'll find providers there prepared to help. Yes, hospital systems are restricting the number of people who are moving in and out of the building as a means of trying to prevent any possible transmission of the COVID-19 germ. But that doesn't mean, of course, that they won't help. And if you drive up to an emergency room with someone who's having a real problem, you will find providers prepared to come out, help with that person, and get the care delivered that they require.
It really is difficult for people to have this kind of peace of mind today. Don't you agree?
Oh, completely. It's terribly anxiety provoking, but it is also important that we keep things in perspective. We've had a tragic loss of over 100,000 Americans to COVID-19 disease. During that same interval of time, we estimate that about 250,000 people will have died of heart disease problems. And that's assuming they got the care they needed in a timely manner. We worry that that number could actually be much, much higher.
And doctor, there are probably some misconceptions in thinking that, oh, I'm feeling a little anxiety, when in fact it could be much worse than that.
You're absolutely right. We struggle with that even under more normal circumstances. But today you can imagine it's really a big issue. SCAI conducted a consumer survey and found that roughly half of the respondents indicated that they indeed might delay getting care, even if they thought they were having an emergency, because they were worried about COVID-19.
So there really is no way of overreacting to this.
With regard to having a heart attack or a stroke, the appropriate reaction is to address it. That first hour after the onset of symptoms of a heart attack, we refer to that as the golden hour. And we call it the golden hour because if we can get you into a catheterization laboratory, open up the blocked heart artery causing your heart attack, the chances that you will recover fully and get right back to a normal productive life is extremely high. It is the golden opportunity to stop that problem in its tracks. If you wait for several hours trying to tough it out because you're worried, you may arrive at hospital too late for us to help.
Well, as the campaign says, seconds count. Doctor, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Stay right there. We'll be right back.